the city code. Had this been any other business, would citations have already been issued? If none were issued here for its condition, why? The Bibb administration should also finalize the real estate negotiation to acquire this property with the use of eminent domain. Also, the city's answer to Shaker Madison's brief hasn't been filed, so that's something else we need to ensure is done. Kelly pulling the legislation removes a huge barrier to the city acquiring the land. Right now, the owner has much less incentive to negotiate or compromise. Again, Kelly's spot zoning must be tabled. We need to ensure that the pedestrian retail overlay is protected once again. The push for the fire station represents the highest and best use, and is consistently something the community has been advocating for. It's in alignment with the Commons plan, and the community's interests. With the fall re-election season underway, now is the time for maximum leverage. Our goal is concise, focus is clear, crisp, and it's doable. The city, along with community backing, has the power to get this done, and we should not accept anything less. This isn't something we should shelve until January 26th, having it be someone else's problem. The time is now. Danny Kelly, before you shift your focus to your campaign to run in Ward 12, can you please do right by the residents of Ward 11? Can we get this done? Thank you, and that is my time.
Next, we have Ben to talk about the Cleveland flag, the real Cleveland flag, and are you representing the real Cleveland flag and he's not being paid right now?
Good evening, Council President, members of Council here. I really did enjoy meeting with many of you at community events over the summer. It reminds us that leadership isn't just about decisions made in this chamber. It's really about showing up across the city for the communities you represent. Tonight, I'm here to present 3 alternate versions of the Cleveland flag. We don't think these are just designs, they're really reflections of Clevelanders who have shaped this city. On the original, we have red and blue. These are symbols of patriotism. So building off of that idea, these next flags expanded. So the first one we have is called Progresso y Prosperidad. So this is a symbol of belonging here. What we've done is we've made the Cleveland city symbol, city motto in Spanish here. This unites our Spanish-speaking communities under a unified banner. The next one we have is called Pride, Progress, and Prosperity. This is our LGBT version, and it really brings visibility to LGBT Clevelanders, and if adopted, would be a civic version of the Pride flag. And then the last one we have, we call Power, Progress, and Prosperity. This one honors our Black Clevelanders, their legacy, their leadership, and their ongoing contributions to our civic culture. If adopted, this would be the first civic flag in the country officially dedicated to the largest ethnic minority of 65 major American cities. This isn't just symbolic, this is a historic moment. Cleveland has a chance to be the first. There is precedent for this. Cities like Salt Lake City and Boise, Idaho, both with states with limiting unofficial flags on government property, have created different versions of their flag to incorporate into city code. So using that template, we could do the same. Let's make these flags official, because Cleveland isn't just one story, it's many, and our flag should be able to show that. Thank you.
Even though we're going to be acknowledging the young ladies through Councilwoman Stephanie House-Jones through the presentation, but Brittany Smith is on the agenda, or does she want to wait until the presentation? Okay, so Ms. Smith is going to wait until the presentation. Next we have Fauzi Badur, Ward 11, Madison Avenue on West Boulevard Development, and he's not representing anyone and not being paid right.
Good evening, Council, Mayor Bibb. I'd like to congratulate those of you who made it in September primary going into November. As to the challenges to stay in this space. I'm here to talk to Danny Kelly, my councilman now. I'm resident of 411. I'll be resident of 411 next year. I'll be represented by Council Lady named Nikki Hudson. Danny I know you're a good person. I know you have good heart. You're down to earth person. I'm speaking to you heart to heart, from my heart. This location, 100 Madison Avenue, it wasn't made, it was never made to have gas station. It's next to a park, next to a school, next to another school, next to daycare, next to fire station. Let's make commitment. Table that issue. Tell the community we're between September primary and November election. Table, tell the community this issue is dead. Let's make alliance. You ask those guys if they want to sell it, to ask for reason price, and we'll brush on Mayor bill. Even if we have to brush on Mayor bill, I know he doesn't need to brush to acquire the property. This is a place for fire station, and you agree with that, but you can't let the gas station go away. Let this gas station go. This is not a place for gas station. And we appreciate, a good stand for this. That location is where kids were, and you know that we count everything before, so please table that issue. Let it die. Mayor Bill, we said 100 times that we know who you are. You're a good, loyal kid of Cleveland, son of Cleveland, and a man of Cleveland, and the mayor of Cleveland. Acquire that property. Put the fire station in there. We're with, whether you buy it with reasonable price, I don't know what they asking, I don't know what you offering, or acquire it through eminent domain. We need a fire station in there. We don't need a gas station in there. Thank you very much.
Matthew is from Ward 3, and he's here to talk about the West 25th Street bus lanes, and he's not representing anyone and not being paid by anyone. Mr. Hahn, you have the floor.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Ahn, Old Ward 3, New Ward 5. I live downtown, but in many ways, Ohio City is my neighborhood. I spend lots of time on 25th, but I don't ride my bike on 25th. Part of why is because I don't feel safe cycling there. I don't say this lightly. I've commuted by bike for 17 years now. I've been in full-speed collisions, 2 separate collisions in 2024. One totaled my bike, one tore my MCL. But I was also hit by a car on West 25th in 2022. I was riding south when somebody tried to turn left from Carroll to go north. As they peeled out, I managed to swerve and only get tapped by the car, but it could have easily been much worse. Part of why is the cars are parked all the way to the corner on 25th, making it impossible for this car to see me until they actually got into the traffic lane. Those cars were parked illegally, but they likely would have not even tried to park on 25th if there were no parking lane. That lane is responsible not only for crashes, but also for slow traffic up and down 25th. As illustrated by that crash, parked cars lead to shorter view sheds on cross streets. Cars that drive the speed limit are risking a collision anytime somebody tries to turn out. And the process of parallel parking blocks the traffic lane while folks pull in and out. And finally, because people expect to see stopped cars, it gives drivers license to double park illegally on the street. Even when that is temporary, it slows down other traffic on the street, including buses. I also take the bus. The 51 is the only reasonable frequency bus that goes to the southwest suburbs where my parents live. 51, like all buses on 25th, crawls slowly because cars are not only parked but double parked on the street. The double parking also leads to more concern while I'm cycling, as those cars are more likely to have a door open and hit me if I am passing too closely. Now, I've been very intentional using the words collision and crash rather than accident, because bad road design is not an accident. We know what works to make our streets safer, including a street like West 25th. A comprehensive UCLA study of bus lanes replacing parking lanes in LA, mostly in districts similar to West 25th, showed 3 consistent things over a 14-year study period. Number 1, reducing fatalities. Number 2, reducing severe injuries. And number 3, reducing collisions that involved pedestrians. These are the reasons that opponents are invoking right now against these bus lanes, but those reasons actually support this change. And of course, the economic impact of transit-friendly changes are consistently shown by studies to be positive. If we wanted to make 25th safe, instead we would turn the whole street from Lorraine to Bridge into a busway with no cars allowed. There are 0 driveways on that stretch of 25th that private cars need access to, and truck turnouts would be easy to reserve for business access. The bus lane proposal is actually a compromise proposal from a pedestrian safety standpoint. We were promised people over cars in 2021. Cosmetic changes have happened, slick press releases have happened, but make no accident, we can do better for our pedestrians and our residents. And so I urge these bus lanes to be implemented as quickly as possible. Thank you.
That concludes public comment. Madam Clerk, please share communications.
File number 1058-2025 from Denise Van Leer, Executive Director, Fairfax Renaissance Development Corporation. Notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Innovation Square Phase 2. File number 1059-2025 from Joseph D. Cesar, Development Specialist, Frontline Development Group, Woda Cooper Development. Notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Gateway 66. File number 1060-2025 from Mark E. Whitkey, Chief of Asset Management, Cleveland Housing Network, Housing Partners. From notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Erie Square Preservation. File number 1062-2025 from Mark E. Whitkey, Chief of Asset Management, CHN Housing Partners. Notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as McGregor Lakewood Independent Living. File number 1063-2025 from Michael Bowen, President, Revitalization Strategies Group. Notice of intent to apply to Ohio Housing Finance Agency for multifamily funding programs for the development known as Stephen Howe Apartments, Homes at 1000 Lakeview Road. From the Ohio Division of Liquor Control, file number 1061-2025 regarding a transfer of license application at 15020 Purity Avenue, Ward 16.
Thank you. Those resolutions.
Resolutions have been moved by Councilmember House Jones for George Hood, by Councilmember Starr for Gail J. Wynn, by Councilmember Bishop for Margot Anderson, by Councilmember House Jones for Alberta Graves, by Councilmember House Jones for Elise Johnson or Alice Johnson, by Councilmember Conwell for Barbara Bird, by Councilmember Griffin for Charles Williams, by Councilmember Bishop for Annie Mae Maxwell, by Councilmember Glensick for Donna Foster, by Councilmember Griffin for Danielle Stevens, by Councilmember Casey for Mother Naomi Miles, by Councilmembers Starr and Griffin for Sharon Levon Hunter Glasby, by Councilmember Hairston for Cynthia Rose Ryan, by Councilmember Hairston for Gerald Wayne Ryan, by Councilmember Griffin, by Councilmembers Griffin, Conwell, Glensick, and Hairston for Gregory Burrow Wheeler Sr., by Councilmember Griffin for Mickey Clayton, by Councilmember Hairston for Joe Davis Sr., by Councilmember Hairston for Edna Lee Crenshaw, by Councilmember Glensick for Harriet Thomas, by Councilmembers McCormack and Slice for Jerome Jerry Somerville, by Councilmember House Jones for Armin Craig, by Councilmember Jones for Bernice Davis, by Councilmember Casey for James Robert Brown, by Councilmember Griffin for Howard Anthony Thompson, by Councilmember Conwell for Sinisa Doyle, by Councilmember Griffin. That's all.
Thank you. Are there any other condolence resolutions, Councilman Kerry McCormick?
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you please hold the number out for Congresswoman Mary Rose O'Carr, if anyone wants to join me on that?
Is there any objection to all council members being added to that resolution for former council person as well as Congressperson Mary Rose O'Carr? objections, then all council members be added to that resolution. Thank you. Councilman Michael Glinson.
Mr. Chairman, I didn't hear, but I want to make sure we hold on for former Councilman Mike Halacco.
Didn't hear that. I'm glad that you brought that up. I had that on my agenda to talk about next.
Okay, and I'd like the number to love Michael Trollhouse as well. Thank you.
Are there any other condolence resolutions, Councilwoman Jasmine Santana?
Thank you, Mr. President. Can you hold on a number for Reverend Edgar Nieves?
So noted. Madam Clerk, can you hold a number out for Mike Gibbons? Mike Gibbons, former Senate candidate, businessman Mike Gibbons. Are there any other condolence resolutions? Seeing no other condolence resolutions, we'll all rise for a moment of silence. Thank you. Are there any congratulatory resolutions? Councilwoman Jones, will you make the congratulatory resolutions?
Resolutions of congratulations by Councilmember Griffin for Caesar Esther Killian Warren. By Councilmember Jones for Second New Hope Baptist Church. By Councilmember Slight for John R. Costo. By Councilmember McCormack for Daniel Friesens. By Councilmember Conwell for Judge Jean Merle Capers Tennis Courts. By Councilmember Griffin for City of Cleveland Division of EMS on their 50th anniversary. By Councilmember Griffin for Dr. By Councilmember Walensky for Nicole Carlton. By Councilmember Griffin for East 89th Street Rising Ribbon Cutting. By Councilmember Walensky for Deacon Pete Trevor. By Councilmember Bishop for Pastor Kathy Thomas Hirenko. By Councilmember Griffin for Batuki Restaurant grand opening. By Councilmember Santana for the La Distancia grand opening. By Councilmember Walensky for James C. Millen. By Councilmember Griffin for Pastor Cedric D. Beal. By Councilmember Griffin for Policy Matters Ohio. By Councilmember Slight for Edna Orozco retirement. By Council members Gray and House Jones for National Clothing Insecurity Awareness Day. Resolutions of recognition by Councilmember Starr for the Cleveland Guardians. By Councilmember Casey for Logan Bastion Eagle Scout. By Councilmember Conwell for Canine Companions. By Councilmember Santana for Diane Morgan. By Councilmember Santana for Betty Jo Palmer. By Councilmember Griffin for East High School class of 1975 on their 50th anniversary. By Councilmember Santana for Building Hope in the City. By Councilmember Santana for National Adult Education and Family Literacy Week. By Councilmember Griffin for Sherelle Hardy. By Councilmember Starr Posted on the Corner. By Councilmember House Jones for Pastor Dante L. Thompson. By Councilmember Griffin for Baldwin Water Treatment Plant on their 100th anniversary. By Councilmember Griffin for Sunita Lynn Williams. By Councilmember Conwell for alumni of Columbia Elementary School FDR Junior High School reunion.
Thank you. I'm going to ask if you could move the cameras over a little bit. Councilwoman House Jones and all of our guests. This is Cody, Security Week. Councilwoman House Jones would like to do a presentation.
Good evening, everybody. On behalf of myself and Councilwoman Gray, we were actually reached out to by Ms. Brittany Smith, who is the founder of Cleveland Pearls, which stands for Positively Empowering and Restoring Ladies' Self-Esteem. It's an organization dedicated to young girls within our city. And when she reached out to me to let me know that today was the National Clothing Insecurity Awareness Day, I wanted to at least recognize the work of Cleveland Pearls. Our young ladies, we know, are dealing with a lot and really bringing awareness of some of the things and the challenges they are experiencing. And so now, without further ado, I want to bring up Ms. Smith and the young ladies from Cleveland Pearls to kind of talk about more about this today and the work that they're doing to spread the awareness. So, Ms. Smith.
So my name is Brittany Smith again. Good evening to council, his administration. My name is Brittany Smith and I'm the founder and executive director of Cleveland Pearls. And I'm so excited to be here tonight on a day that we are recognizing as National Clothing Insecurity Awareness Day. So a few grassroots organizations across the nation are working to push the importance of clothing insecurity within our communities. And so I'm here tonight filled with immense gratitude and excitement. And on behalf of our entire community and the young people that we serve especially, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you. Your decision to officially recognize September 15th as National Clothing Insecurity Awareness Day is a monumental step forward for our city. It's not just a proclamation. It's a powerful statement that Cleveland sees and cares about the silent struggle that so many of our youth experience. For the past few years, our work has been centered on the idea that clothing is so much more than just fabric. It's about dignity, confidence, and self-worth. It's a way for a young person to feel ready to show up for school, for an interview, or to a special night out. Through our Pearls closets, our main closet in the Mallory Center, our closets that are in partnership with Cleveland Metropolitan School District, we've worked hard to provide young people with the access to quality and decent clothing that they need. We have seen firsthand smiles and renewed confidence that perfectly suit the fitting outfits and brands. We have also had the incredible honor of helping hundreds of girls find that special prom dress or homecoming gown, ensuring that they feel radiant and confident on their special day. But this work is not done alone. I want to take a moment to thank our partners and other organizations across the city who show up every day for our young people, helping to fight clothing insecurity. It's a collaborative effort, and because of your tireless dedication, all of us are making that impact. So by recognizing this day, you know that you are not just acknowledging a problem, you're acknowledging the potential with every single one of our young people. You're validating the idea that a single piece of clothing can be the start of a whole new story for a young person who has experienced things like house fires, trauma, life changes, or family crisis. So again, thank you so much for your leadership, for your belief in our mission here at Pearls, and for your continued support as we all work together to rewrite the stories of our young people here. Thank you very much.
Let's give him another round of applause. All right, Madam Clerk, please move to the special part of the agenda.
Resolution 1091, 2025, by Councilman Griffin, censuring Councilmember Joseph T. Jones for violating Council's workplace violence policy and standards of conduct policy and formally condemning Councilmember Jones's continued inappropriate and unprofessional workplace behavior.
Thank you. I'll read the resolution in its entirety, and I will give further instructions. Resolution 1091-2025 reads as follows. Whereas on May 19, 2025, during an interaction with a council staff person, Councilmember Joseph T. Jones threatened 3 times in a row to kill that staff person. And whereas that evening during a council meeting, despite other available seats, including his own assigned seat, Councilmember Jones sat next to a staff person with whom he was directed to have no contact due to his previous inappropriate behavior against that staff person. And whereas outside investigations of the above 2 incidents found that Councilmember Jones' threatening remarks and his intimidating behavior by sitting in direct vicinity of the staff person he was to have no contact with likely violated council policies. And whereas this council hereby determines that such conduct is disorderly and violates council's workplace violence policy, which prohibits violent acts such as threats of bodily harm, intimidation, and bullying, and violates council's standards of conduct policy, which summarizes expected behavior and standards of professional conduct in the workplace, and sets forth prohibited conduct, including harassment, abusive or threatening behavior, creating a hostile work environment, and bullying. And whereas the recent incidents have left the involved staff members anxious, stressed, and concerned about their safety and the safety of their family members. They are concerned about continued harassment and retaliation, and they have sought counseling. And whereas the above incidents are not the first time Councilmember Jones has exhibited inappropriate and unprofessional behavior in the workplace. Last year, Jones was disciplined and corrective measures taken because of 6 separate complaints of harassment, sexual harassment, intimidation, and bullying against council staff that an outside investigation found likely violated council's sexual and non-sexual harassment policy and workplace violence policy. And whereas Jones' unprofessional and inappropriate behavior has adversely impacted workplace morale, employee confidence, and office integrity. And whereas property, health, or safety. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Cleveland that this council hereby censures Councilmember Joseph T. Jones for violating council's workplace violence policy and standards of conduct policy, and formally condemns Councilmember Jones' continued inappropriate and unprofessional workplace behavior. I will insert a couple of comments just to give everyone how we got here today. And first of all, I want to say that I understand the gravity of how important it is for us to address this situation, and doing something that hasn't been done by this body in nearly 5 decades. But I sit here with a clear sense of duty. This is not a moment that anyone on this body wishes to arrive at. The matter before us, the censure of Councilman Joe Jones, is a culmination of a deliberate, sober, and difficult process that has unfolded over the span of at least 14 months. As the leader of this council, and in partnership with Clerk Britt, we have a responsibility to uphold the dignity and integrity of this institution, its members, and staff. We have a duty to exercise and enforce the rules that we as a body voted on in January 2022. We have a responsibility to show support for and belief in the people who have made complaints against Councilman Jones. For more than a year, Clerk Britt and I have exercised what is known as progressive discipline in our efforts to address the repeated inappropriate behavior of Councilman Jones. This was not a swift or rash decision. Recognizing this is a sensitive topic and an employment matter, we retained the services of an external law firm to objectively investigate the series of allegations levied against him last year and to provide us with recommendations to address those allegations. Last year's investigation found all allegations to be credible. As a result, we exercised progressive discipline and took the following steps. We provided Councilman Jones with a written reprimand for his behavior in July 2024. We required him to attend group workplace behavior and leadership accountability training, which he completed. We required him to attend a series of individual behavior training, which he completed. We removed him temporarily at the time from committee assignments. And I also want to say that all council received training at the same time, simultaneously, to make sure that we all work together to try to hold ourselves accountable. This past February, council updated its sexual harassment and workplace violence policies after that training and after those engagements. We also enacted a standards of conduct policy. All of them, including Councilmember Jones, signed off on receipt of those policies, all 17 members, including Councilman Jones. We now have a written disciplinary process for members of council, which you all have acknowledged receipt. I have followed and will continue to follow those policies and processes in this and all employment matters. Throughout this entire process, Councilman Jones was made aware in no uncertain terms that any continued inappropriate behavior would lead to this very moment, a public vote of censure. This was in the formal letter that was given to Councilman Jones in July 2020. Despite these clear warnings and the disciplinary steps taken, the behavior continued, most recently in May, with 2 new allegations in violation of council workplace violence policy and standards of conduct policy. As a result, we are here today because the actions of Councilman Jones has left us no other choice. This vote is not about personal animosity or political difference. It is about accountability. It is about ensuring that our conduct as representatives of this city meets the high standards of that our constituents deserve. It is about exercising the following through on the very rules that we as a body passed in early 2022. It is about showing support for the people who had the courage to speak out against his behavior. It is about maintaining a professional and safe work environment. I urge each and every one of you to consider the facts and to vote in favor of this censure. But most importantly, imagine if it was you, your spouse, your family member, or somebody else who actually had to experience this, and what would you actually do? So once again, thank you for this consideration. The following will apply. If any council person would like to make comments, I am allowing only 2 minutes for any council member. If they would like to, it's optional, if any council member wants to make regarding just this topic, we are allowing 2 minutes only for any council member that would like to state anything. And then secondly, Councilman Jones has an opportunity to make a statement, and I will be very generous with time for Councilman Jones. I have afforded him 4 minutes to make any statements that he would like, and we will go from here. After that, we will call a public roll, beginning with me, and then alphabetically. We will then, you will all be called individually to vote yes or no for yea or nay for this. So, that being said, are there any comments that any council members would like to exercise 2 minutes in order to make any statements? Councilman Richard Starr, Councilman Starr, you have the floor, 2 minutes.
I'll just say, Council President, you just spoke for about 5 minutes and given us 2. But I understand. Ladies and gentlemen, I wholeheartedly believe that workplace environment should always reflect professionalism. Today I want to share my sincere thoughts regarding my decision to vote no on the proposal concerning Joe Jones. My respect for each and member of this council and significant work we accomplished together is profound. After careful considerations of the implications of this vote, I find that opposing the censorship of Joe Jones is the right choice. We must focus on the broader context in which we operate. The current state of accountability within our council concerns me deeply. Morale amongst the team has reached a low point. This marks the third action that has been taken by council leadership regarding the same allegation, and it feels less like constructive action and more like reactionary response. We must reflect. Should anyone repeatedly seek satisfaction through punitive measures? Joe Jones has already faced serious consequences, including losing committee chairmanship and being barred from voting during committee hearings. After these actions, I had hoped that we would move forward. However, this situation now feels like double jeopardy, which is troubling. The proposal for censorship strikes me as a more punitive than substantive. We need to focus on solutions that foster lasting positive change rather than those that appear reactionary. We have more pressing issues to tackle. I've seen council staff hesitate to process essential contracts, leading to delays in serving our community. In Ward 5, we have discretionary funds ready to support the residents, yet they remain untapped due to inaction. Staff have expressed fears of personal repercussions, which should never overshadow our commitment to public service. I recognize that the decision may not resonate with everyone, but this choice transcends personal biases or political stance. As a member of the Cleveland City Council, it is my duty to make informed decisions that truly benefit our community, no matter what challenge they may present. Let's not forget, on September 9th, over 1,000 people, the most in any ward, voted for Ward 1 to send Joe Jones to jail. In closing, Council President, there have been past incidents involving previous council members, including cases of sexual harassment that resulted in settlements and others facing federal theft charges. Yet no one sought to censor them. In 1976, Lonnie Burton told a member to kiss mom without delivering that punchline, but was suspended without pay. This year, a member of this body called a citizen a punk, you know what, said the protesters who were doing what many of our ancestors had to do, to fight injustice. He called them disgusting, and they make me sick. Called a citizen a punk, you know what, by standing on this floor in the people's house. Ain't nobody talking about censoring that, or no suspension of that. I just want you all to understand, today it is Joe Jones. Tomorrow, it could be any one of us.
Any other comments from the floor? Seeing no other comments from the floor, Councilman Joseph Jones, would you like to have any comments? Councilman Jones, the back of the floor.
Arise, thanking God who has established my footpath in this day. And the journey that we all must go through in life is to make sure that we come out to be great people at the end of this day. But while we are in it, we have to give God all the praise and all the honor and all the glory. Because without Him, we wouldn't have this chamber, we wouldn't have the rhythm of our heartbeat, nor the oxygen that flows through our lungs. And He who establishes all things, I give praise and honor and glory to. It is what gives me faith. It's what starts me up in the morning time when I pray to Him and ask Him, how can I deliver better services to my people? How can I help citizens in my neighborhood? So I wanted to start out with that because that's where I get my strength and draw my strength. And the devil's gonna do what the devil's gonna do because he's got a job to start discord, chaos. But what this council has to fundamentally look at is how do we protect both the staff and the members. The staff and the members. And we just pledged, and I pledged all my life to pledge. And we pledge every day when we come here every Monday. Justice for all. There's no justice here for all. There's no due process here. There is not the opportunity to face your accusers and be able to have an opportunity to have someone who's impartial to hear both sides. So that is the reason why we need to have in the City Council a Human Resource Department. Not to be targeted because someone allegedly done something, and then a law firm that clearly has conflict of interest, not only in one area, but several areas, even leaking information in the first time that all of this happened. So this is more than what you can come to realize. And I hope you had the opportunity to read a 9-page letter that breaks that down. Now I know some of you I've talked to you said this is all about my vote, it's about business. This is strictly business. And I get that because that's the way politics is sometimes. I appreciate my colleague who stood up and spoke on my behalf because he understands what's going on. He understands it clearly, and many of you understand it, and many of you I have even pumped and pleaded to and asked for assistance and got left eating on the very subjects that we're talking about right here. So, with that being said, I stand before you, Mr. President, Clerk Griffin, Mayor of the City of Cleveland, humbled by this moment, but resolute in my belief that every one of us deserves fairness, transparency, and due process. What is happening to me is not just about Joe Jones. It is about whether any member of this body can be silenced, stripped of their duties, and have their war punished without the safeguards we would all demand of ourselves and of this thing that we call democracy here in terms of city government. Yes, I made a joking remark that was ill-phrased and regrettable. It was never meant as a threat. And witness one himself admitted he did not initially see it as one. I regret it. I have apologized. And I'm willing to undergo additional training to ensure that it never happens again. But to twist a joking remark into grounds for censure while ignoring the testimony of an independent witness who was there and witnessed it at the time, who said it was not delivered in anger, and we all laughed and joked. And I don't understand what just has happened. The second allegation, that I sat next to someone that I was told to avoid, was entirely inadvertent. And it's on film. Anybody can pull up the council piece and see it. I moved as soon as I realized it. And even the report itself that you council members have, the law firm, concedes there was no intent. Yet somehow these moments have been magnified into the grounds of censure. So I ask you, would you want to be censored? Your name tarnished, your family traumatized, your community traumatized. You don't have any legal representation provided for you by the City of Cleveland. You have no legal representation from the council to help you in this ordeal. You just left by yourself. We believe it. It was said, you've done it. That's it. Slam the hammer. That's what this is all about. So I ask, would you like to be censored? Would you like your award to be stripped? Even though the report said the incidents that had happened Would you want to be denied the transparency, legal representation, and fairness that we owe each other and to our citizens? And while we cannot dismiss concerns about workplace conduct, we must also recognize that our city faces urgent challenges. That's why I'm down here. Poverty, public safety is a major issue, housing, infrastructure, and rebuilding trust in the citizens of the city of Cleveland that our city can deliver quality city services and improve the conditions and lives of the residents who live in this great city. To spend tens of thousands of taxpayers' dollars and weeks of time on what are almost misunderstandings. It is not the people of Cleveland elected us to do. This is not what they elected us to do. Our constituents expect us to focus on their lives, their neighborhoods, their futures, not to make an example out of one of our own without due process, cause, and justice for all that we just passed here tonight, as we pass every night.
Councilman, stand for 8 minutes.
In conclusion, I regret this distraction that this has caused, and I reaffirm my commitment to professionalism, to training, and respect. But I cannot accept the measures that punish Ward 1 residents and silences my voice without fairness, without due process. And in a way, none of you who are sitting here right now would not accept that for your child, for your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your cousin to be tarnished in a public way and not have due process. My colleagues, I ask you, reject the censure. Stand for fairness. Let us turn our focus back to the pressing work that truly matters for the people of Cleveland. And to the citizens I represent, I'm honored to have the opportunity to serve as your counsel. I'm committed and dedicated to making sure that you are super served, that you have the resources you need. When you make those phone calls, I'm the one fighting for you and picking up that phone and walking door to door and giving you everything that I got. So I want to say to you, I'm privileged and honored to have the opportunity to represent you as councilman. And as long as God gives me the rhythm of my heart and the air that goes through my lungs, I'm going to continue to fight for you because that's what I do every day when I come down.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Woo! Thank you, sir.
You can hear the instructions. Please call the roll. And make sure everybody knows, is it A or nay?
On suspension of the rules by Councilmember Conwell, that the rules be suspended and the legislation just read be placed on final. I'm sorry. So this is on the suspension of the rules. Griffin, Bishop, Conwell, Gray, Harrison, Harsh, House Jones, Casey, Kelly, Moore, McCormack, Valencia, Santana, Slight, Spencer, Starr. 16 yeas.
Call the roll.
This is on censure. Griffin.
Yes.
Bishop. Conwell. Gray. Harrison. Harsh. House Jones. Jones.
No.
Casey. Kelly. Moore. McCormack. Valencia. Santana. Slight. Spencer. Starr.
No.
Agenda back.
14 yeas, 2 nays.
Coward.
Thank you. Censure vote carries. And Madam Clerk, we continue to the regular item of business. Please proceed to first reading of emergency ordinances referred for administrative review and committee.
Ordinance 1068, 2025, by council members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the Director of Parks and Recreation to accept a donation from Changeover Awards designee to allow and accept improvements to 2 tennis courts located at Harmony Park as a gift to the city. Ordinance 1072, 2025, by council members Bishop and Griffin by departmental request to amend the 4th whereas clause in sections 1, 3, and 4 of Ordinance 549, 2025, relating to an amendment to a contract with Osborne Engineering Company to provide additional services relating to the North Coast Connector Project, also known as the Lakefront Pedestrian Bridge Connector. Ordinance 1073, 2025, by council members Bishop, Pearson, and Griffin by departmental request, authorizing the mayor and commissioner of purchases and supplies to sell certain city-owned property no longer needed for the city's public use located at the terminus of Byrne Avenue